Want to pass AWS Cloud Practitioner CLF-C02 in 2026 and unlock high salary cloud jobs in the US or UK? Let's solve 5 real exam style questions together, and I'll give you a free PDF at the end. Question 26. AWS Trusted Advisor can provide alerts on which of the following common security misconfigurations? Select 2. A. When you don't turn on user activity logging, AWS CloudTrail. B. When you share IAM user credentials with others. C. When you don't tag objects in S3 buckets. D. When you allow public access to Amazon S3 buckets. E. When you don't enable data encryption on S3 Glacier. This question asks which specific security checks AWS Trusted Advisor can perform to alert you about common security misconfigurations. Think of it as, what security issues does Trusted Advisor automatically scan for and flag in my AWS account? The correct answer is A. When you don't turn on user activity logging, AWS CloudTrail. D. When you allow public access to Amazon S3 buckets, AWS Trusted Advisor includes a security category that automatically checks for common security misconfigurations in your AWS account. 2 of its key security checks are: 1. CloudTrail logging status. It alerts you if CloudTrail is not enabled, which means you have no audit trail of API calls and user activity for security monitoring and compliance. 2. S3 bucket permissions. It detects S3 buckets with public read or write access and alerts you to prevent accidental data exposure. These checks help you identify and fix security gaps before they become incidents. Why the other options are incorrect. Sharing IAM credentials. B. Trusted Advisor cannot detect human behavior like sharing passwords. It only scans configurations. Not tagging S3 objects. C. Tagging is for cost management and organization, not a security check that Trusted Advisor monitors. S3 Glacier encryption. E. Trusted Advisor does not specifically check for S3 Glacier encryption settings. Quick memory tip. Think Trusted Advisor security equals CloudTrail on plus S3 buckets private, CloudTrail for logging plus S3 public access alerts. If this video is helping you, support us by hitting the like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Question 27. Which of the following can you use to run a Bootstrap script while launching an EC2 instance? A. EC2 instance AMI data. B. EC2 instance user data. C. EC2 instance configuration data. D. EC2 instance metadata. This question asks which EC2 feature allows you to automatically run commands or scripts when an instance first launches. Think of it as, how do I install software or configure an EC2 instance automatically at boot time without logging in? The correct answer is B. EC2 instance user data. EC2 instance user data allows you to pass a Bootstrap script to an EC2 instance that runs automatically when the instance first starts. This script executes with root privileges and is commonly used to automate tasks like installing software updates, downloading files, configuring services, or setting up web servers. User data runs only once at first launch, unless you reconfigure it, making it perfect for initial setup automation without manual intervention. Why the other options are incorrect. AMI data. A. AMI is the image template used to launch instances. It contains the OS and pre-installed software, but you don't pass Bootstrap scripts through AMI data. Configuration data. C. Not a valid EC2 feature. This is not how AWS terms instance setup options. Metadata. D. EC2 metadata provides information about the instance, like instance ID, IP address, not a way to run scripts at launch. Quick memory tip. Think user data equals Bootstrap script at launch. User data runs commands when instance starts. Question 28. Which pillar of AWS well-architected framework is responsible for making sure that you focus on continually improving your processes and procedures? A. Performance efficiency. B. Reliability. C. Operational excellence. D. Cost optimization. This question asks which pillar of the AWS well-architected framework focuses on continuously improving processes, procedures, and operations. Think of it as, which pillar is about running systems efficiently and learning from failures to keep getting better? The correct answer is C. Operational excellence. The operational excellence pillar focuses on running and monitoring systems to deliver business value while continually improving supporting processes and procedures. Key principles include automating operations, making frequent small changes, learning from operational failures, and refining procedures regularly based on feedback. It emphasizes using monitoring tools like CloudWatch, implementing infrastructure as code, and creating a culture where teams anticipate failures and continuously evolve their practices to improve efficiency and reliability. Why the other options are incorrect. Performance efficiency. A. Focuses on using computing resources efficiently to meet demand and adopting the latest technologies, not about improving processes. Reliability. B. Focuses on workload ability to recover from failures and meet demand, not continuous process improvement. Cost optimization. D. Focuses on avoiding unnecessary costs and choosing the most cost effective resources, not operational improvement. Quick memory tip. Think. Operational excellence. Continuously improve operations and processes. OpEx equals learn, automate, and keep getting better. Question 29. A social media company wants to have the most cost optimal strategy for deploying EC2 instances. As a cloud practitioner, which of the following options would you recommend? Select 2. A. Use on demand instances to run applications with a predictable usage over the next 1 year. B. Use reserved instances for ad hoc jobs that can be interrupted. C. Use on demand instances for ad hoc jobs that can be interrupted. D. Use reserved instances to run applications with a predictable usage over the next 1 year. E. Use spot instances for ad hoc jobs that can be interrupted on. This question asks which EC2 purchasing options provide the most cost savings for 2 different workload types: predictable long-term usage and interruptible short-term jobs. Think of it as, how do I match the right EC2 pricing model to each workload type to minimize costs? The correct answer is D. Use reserved instances to run applications with a predictable usage over the next 1 year. E. Use spot instances for ad hoc jobs that can be interrupted. Reserved instances, D, offer up to 72% discount compared to on-demand pricing when you commit to using instances for 1 or 3 years with predictable, steady-state workloads. This makes them ideal for applications like web servers, databases, or backend services that run continuously with known capacity requirements. Spot instances E provide up to 90% discount by using AWS's spare compute capacity, perfect for fault-tolerant, flexible, and interruptible workloads like batch processing, data analysis, or background jobs that can be stopped and restarted without impacting operations. Together, these 2 strategies maximize cost savings by matching pricing models to workload characteristics. Why the other options are incorrect. On demand for predictable usage A. On demand is pay as you go with no commitment, great for flexibility, but costs 72% more than reserved instances for predictable workloads. Reserved for interruptible jobs. B. Reserved instances require long-term commitment and aren't cost-effective for short ad hoc tasks that can be interrupted. On demand for interruptible jobs. C. On demand costs up to 90% more than spot instances for workloads that can tolerate interruptions. Quick memory tip. Think. Reserved equals predictable and long-term. Spot equals interruptible and cheap. Reserved for steady apps, spot for flexible jobs. Question 30. Which of the following is the most cost-effective EC2 instance purchasing option for short-term, spiky, and critical workloads on AWS Cloud? A. Spot instance. B. Dedicated host. C. Reserved instance. D. On-demand instance. This question asks which EC2 pricing model is best for workloads that are short-term, unpredictable, spiky, and critical, cannot be interrupted. Think of it as, which option gives me flexibility, no commitment, and guaranteed availability for important but unpredictable workloads? The correct answer is D. On-demand instance. On-demand instances are the most cost-effective option for short-term, spiky, and critical workloads because they offer pay-as-you-go pricing with no upfront commitment, guaranteed availability, and can be launched or terminated at any time. While on-demand costs more per hour than reserved or spot instances, for short-term usage, you avoid the long-term commitment costs of reserved instances, and for critical workloads, you get the reliability that spot instances, which can be interrupted, cannot provide. This makes on-demand the most economical choice when you need flexibility, reliability, and don't want to pay for unused capacity. Why the other options are incorrect. Spot instance A offers 90% savings but can be interrupted by AWS at any time, unsuitable for critical workloads that cannot tolerate interruptions. Dedicated host B, most expensive option, used for compliance or licensing requirements, not cost-effective for general workloads. Reserved instance C requires 1 to 3 year commitment and upfront payment, not cost-effective for short-term, unpredictable usage. Quick memory tip. Think critical, short term, spiky, on demand. On demand, no commitment, always available. To get the free PDF or mock test, comment PDF or mock or both. I will share the downloadable link within the next 24 hours.